don't cut corners.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Khutamul Islam, and you're listening to Radio Al Ansar.
Get ready for Green Thumbs Up, the gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. I'm your host and life coach, Rabia Carvalho, and we're talking birds, bees, butterflies, and blooms, growing food in garden rooms, home-based holistic healing, and much more. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or nature lover, plant assassin, or permaculture professional, we got you. We got you. Let us bring you the ideas, the facts, support, and inspiration to go green wherever you are. Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. only on Radio Al Ansar.
Look at the sun, look at the sky, look at the bird, it's flying so high. Look at the stars, shining so bright in the middle of the night.
Radio Al Ansar.
Hey, it's Green Thumbs Up Day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning. Sawubona, or shall I say Sani Bonani? Guten Morgen. Bon dia. Buenos dias. Bonjour. Ça va? What else can we say? Buongiorno. My goodness me, so many of them. You'll have to cover the African language though, Sibonisa, because I know, what's it? Dumelang? And Sawubona, Sanibonani, Avukleni. Which one is that?
Tosa.
Tosa. Okay. Anyway, folks, it is Green Thumbs Up. We are that gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. And today we have a lovely show lined up for you. Yes, we're going to be talking to Dr. Carrie Goodwin, and she's going to be joining us today. Now, we normally do a full monthly forecast, so this won't be it, dearies, because we have another part of the show as well. So here's what we're doing today. I thought to myself, we're going into a new year, and everybody is moog. Are you also moog? We're tired. We're very tired. Okay, speaking of tired, Brother Sibonisa, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Why did the flower slip and fall?
Flower?
Why did the flower slip and fall? Because it was a whoopsie daisy. A specific type of a daisy. A whoopsie daisy. Yes, we still keep it corny on the show. We always have and we always will. So you're listening to me, Rabia Carvalho. In studio with me is Brother Sibonisa Mkhize, who is the man behind the buttons, the man behind all of the tech in studio here. And today we have a little bit of studio technology going, because we have our first guest that's going to be joining us, Dr. Carrie Goodwin. And I thought to myself, yes, going into the new year, how lovely would it be, since everyone is so moog, to kind of feel awokened by pretty flowers. So I thought, what might we plant now that could give us flowers like January, February? Not a long time, like 8 weeks, but you could get the smaller flowers that will then go up into a plethora of blooms come the full summertime in January, February. Now, if you're in Durban, January and February, we have it hard here, folks. We have it hard because it's so hot. We have it hot. January and February, hi. Yashisa. It's hot. So we're building up to it, because now, if we look at the weather this coming week, although we have a spot of rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and next week, Sunday, that same Tuesday and Monday, folks, 29 degrees centigrade. Friday, you will be cooking with gas at 32 degrees. 32 degrees, dearies. And then in Johannesburg for the week, you guys have it a lot cooler there. Ladies, you have the 26 degrees today, but the maximum for the entire week is 27 on Tuesday, where it's also going to be raining. So hello. You've got rain, Joburg. You've got rain on Sunday, today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. So you have one like full sunny day, perhaps next week, Sunday. I'm sorry, I didn't make the weather. I just reported. Sister Fatima Effendi, Assalamu alaikum. I was sending us the beautiful pictures and emojis and gifts that explode with flowers. And we absolutely love you all for all the wonderful messages that you sent us on studio, which is, of course, the WhatsApp line 060 904 1056. Let me remind you why that is. 904 because we are on 90.4 FM in Durban.
Yeah.
1056 because we're on 105.6 in Pietermaritzburg.
Yeah.
But you can also audio stream around the world, and here we are waiting for you. Yes, we're here with you at Radio Al-Ansar. So Cape Town weather, you have good weather. Cape Town, all I can say is Friday and Saturday, you might need a little bit of an umbrella. The rest of the week, it's going to be balmy, beautiful, bouncy, bee weather, which takes me to guest number 2 today is going to be someone I met on the TikToks. How did I meet her on the TikToks? Well, I was scrolling, as one does, and I came across a lady, and Sibanisu, I can't tell her age, but she's not the spring chicken, okay? And neither am I, so I can say so. But what a lovely lady. And you know, later on in her life, she decided to take on beekeeping. Now, we've had beekeepers on the show before and we spoke in general terms about bees. But what we haven't done is walked alongside someone in their journey on beekeeping. And this fine young lady is going to be joining us just after the 9:30 ad break. Inshallah, Ameen. And we're going to be talking about what got her into bees. She's also a woman after my own heart, an organic farmer. So, hello, it's going to be wonderful, wonderful talking and catching up. Another message from Sister Farah. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. She says, surely the mercy of Allah is close to those who are good in their deeds. Inshallah. Ameen. So, Jazakallah, keep those messages coming. I love it, love it, love it. Let's take on Dr. Carrie Goodwin. I think she is on video with us. So you can always join us on all of the Al-Ansar socials, Radio Al-Ansar. And, you know, on a Friday, we have the pre-show, on-show, post-show with me on Lifecoach Rabia on the TikToks. So online with us is Dr. Carrie Goodwin, who is no stranger to the show. We know her as our gardening guru Fundi. Good morning, Carrie. How are you?
Very well. Thank you. And you, good morning to you and to all your listeners.
Good morning. So now, Carrie, I spoke to you yesterday. We always do what is coming up for the next month, but our spot today is a little short. So I asked you if we were to want some lovely flowers to bloom for us going into the new year. What might we plant? Not necessarily from seed, but if there is anything from seed. Otherwise, what might we plant that we can get some flower, some beauty, some fragrance, January, February, and step into the new year with beauty and color?
So I was thinking, and I just went and had a look around the nursery now. It's looking amazing and it's going to continue looking amazing. And it's fragrant. And so it was quite weird because I was sniffing all the plants to make sure that they were still smelling beautiful. But, you know, the one that I really love the most is also known as the coffee jasmine, so the Murea. That one is smelling beautiful at the moment. Our star jasmines are starting to go off a little bit. I think with all the rain that we've all been having, they're still a little bit fragrant, but not as much as normal. The other one that I've seen, I'm not sure if all nurseries have it, but it's a really special plant, is the Stephanothus. It's a climber. Also gets a very beautiful white fragrant flower. But then if we go and look at the more common things, like our dianthus are looking amazing and super fragrant. And the one that surprised me, which is also going to carry on into January, February, is also fragrant, is going to be snapdragons. Because I thought, I thought I would just talk about them because they look beautiful and they give nice height in some of your gardens because you need to have those different layers and that sort of thing. But then actually when I went to smell them, I was like, you smell a little bit like candy. And I quite like the idea of snapdragons in my garden that will add fragrance in the evenings.
Absolutely. And not forgetting marigolds, because in marigolds, we'll have a plethora of marigolds in January. And the more common plants, the zinnias, we could put zinnias in. What about dahlias? Is it a good time?
Beautiful. And with the zinnias, sorry to interrupt you, but now you've got the short ones and then the tall ones. So you get the smaller ones in the seed varieties and in seedlings. But I see quite a few of the seedling growers are starting to grow the taller ones as well, which are really going to bring onto your host, your speaker you're going to have afterwards, who is all about the bees. Because, I mean, the other things that are looking incredible and will go really well through into December, January, February are going to be your salvia. And I do think that every garden should have, well, every garden has to have lots of plants, but salvia is one of the most rewarding because they just flower all the time. They attract lots of bees. They give you that beautiful meadow look. If you wanted a formal garden, you can get the perennial salvias or mystic spires. Also, those are a little bit more structured, but they are super, super rewarding.
I find that in summertime, I like the wild cottage garden, summery kind of thing. And it is okay for us to let our gardens kind of change. They don't always have to be strictly formal all year round. It's nice. A change is as good as a holiday, to go from some really kind of structural formal garden to bring in the big pots full of cornflower and full of as you were saying, the zinnias and even the hanging baskets with the petunias. Petunias are fussy though, Carrie. Petunias, they eat up all the nutrients, but it's not all the nutrients. It's some of the nutrients, but then they have all of that type of nutrient. I can't recall if it's magnesium and potassium that they literally just devour out of the ground that they are in, and then they just die. And people say, it's such a beautiful basket of petunias for the last 2 years. I'm like, yes, well, when last did you feed them?
Yes.
Any type of petunias.
So petunias are also one of those ones I think you love to hate them because they are so particularly fussy. I think it's going to be potassium that they like the most, but the fact is they don't like a lot of water. And what the problem is when they're overwatered, they look like they're wilting. And then people go and think, oh, my poor petunias, it's been so hot and dry. Let me give you more water. And then they get root rot. And so that is the challenge with petunias. The less attention you give them, the better they will be. But if you mollycoddle them and you look after them and you go and give them a cup of water every day and, you really care for them too much, they are going to say, hey, I'm one of those tough love plants. Give me tough love. Don't give me mollycoddled. I can't say that word, but yes, don't give them too much TLC.
Yeah, okay, so petunia's a tough cookie is the message. Petunia is a greedy little so-and-so, so you do need to keep your plant fed. Come the early summer, give it a good feed of magnesium and potassium, so something higher on the P and the K and lower on the N. If you're looking at fertilizers, remember NPK. N is nitrogen, and then you've got your P, and then you've got your K for your phosphate. So as you go through the seasons, potassium, sorry, as you go through the season, you've got your nitrogen in the beginning of the season. There's got to be higher, and then the fruit, the flowers come out, so then you want a higher P. And then if you're wanting the fruit to grow and not fall off the tree, you want a higher K. That's how I always remember it, Carrie.
Absolutely, 100% correct. And especially now we're having, I would say, higher than normal rain levels, which we're very, very grateful for. But at the same time, a lot of your nutrients are being leached from the soil. So do remember to feed your garden now for the summer so that you get good summer flowers into January, February, March. If you forget to feed your garden now, then you're actually, when you come back from the holidays or at the start of the new year, you're going to be like, what's going on here? Why are you guys not looking as beautiful as you can?
Yeah.
So even roses, give them a bit of a feed now so that you have beautiful blooms in January.
Absolutely. There's some wonderful advice for you. And a question that has come in from Sister Shamshad Shamshad. She says, Assalamu alaikum. I follow all the instructions, but my leaves keep turning yellow. And she's talking about, of course, her arum lilies. Are there in enough sun, Sister Shamshad, or do you have them kind of in like a dappled shade? What's going on there? What might it be going on there, Carrie, from your perspective?
So also again with the arum lilies, they're a bulb. And so if your leaves are going yellow, you've probably had beautiful, beautiful flowers, nice foliage. And now the bulb is saying, hey, it's my time to put my energy back into the bulb so that next year I can give you beautiful flowers again. So actually, we don't really worry too much. Rather let the leaves go yellow, the bulb die back on itself, and then give it a chance to replenish that bulb. And then again, you'll see it will come back again next year. They're not always meant to be evergreen. They actually have to have a chance to go through a stage of dormancy, especially if it's the colored ones. Ours disappear completely underground, and then they come back again 6 to 7 months later, and they look magnificent.
You know, I find now I've learned something, because even with arum lilies, I also find I don't like those yellowing leaves. So I tend to kind of try to keep them up and going. Maybe because we're in Durban and we've got kind of milder weather throughout the year.
Yeah.
I find my arum lilies are mostly green throughout the entire year, but those yellow leaves, I didn't know now something. It didn't cotton on to me. Of course they were bulbs. Of course they're going to be dormant the same as all the other bulbs, Rabia. What's wrong with you? Yes, of course. Give them a break. Give them a Kit Kat. Don't give them a Kit Kat. Give them a break. Give them coffee instead. A message, quick message that has come in, Carrie. Assalamu alaikum, Rabia Carvalho. Hey, welcome to a beautiful Sunday morning. She says, thumbs up, green show. Beautiful gardening show, mashallah. Everybody enjoys. A nice listening to your guest. My salams and duas to you and your family and the entire Al Ansar family. We always get these beautiful prayers. Always remembered in my duas. Very happy and smiling and very pleasant to the listeners, mashallah. Nasheeds and Naats. Also, well done to the technicians. And that is from Sister Bibi Mustafa in Parang, the CBD area. Shamshad says she's in Pretoria with regard to that arum lily. So then it would make sense that bulb is definitely going to want to sleep, because you ain't in Durban. Durban, we've got mild weather. You might get away with greener leaves.
Yeah. But I mean, it's surprising for me, because I always thought the arum lilies flowered, especially the colored ones. They used to flower for us in May, June, July, almost like a Mother's Day thing. But now I see, with the seasons changing and climate change, we're actually getting them. Ours are flowering now, and they're looking absolutely magnificent. And I'm thinking, wow, how plants are adapting to the climate, probably much better than we are as humans. You know, we want to control everything, whereas plants slowly change to suit the needs so that they can survive the best they can.
I want to take a moment just to give a shout out to all those listeners that have joined us on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. There's so many of you out there in Radio Al Ansar land, tapping those screens, sharing those lives, and we appreciate each and every single one of you. So Sister Fatima Effendi is saying that in Cape Town, her weather today at the moment is 21 degrees, but it feels like 24. It's been a hot week. It's been a really hot week. So Carrie, as we close off on the beautiful fragrance and flowers, do you know we mustn't forget our herbs, because basil is still around for us, and coriander, and you kind of walk past them and just brush the leaves, and you have that beautiful fragrance in the air. Even your thymes, right? It's a good time to plant them by seed, or do we just put out seedlings?
I was going to say, I always find seedlings are easier. I'm not always that successful with seeds, so I go for the ready-made instant gratification, so I can use it in my cool drinks and that sort of thing. I mean, the mint is still doing really, really well. And then it's also, you know, the one that is great all year round is your lavender. And I always think at this time, you know, the lavenders are starting to flower. It's attracting a lot of bees. It's a time of peace. So it's a calming herb that I feel we should have around. And even if you're picking them, some of the bunches to put in your homes, so you can transfer that scent from your garden into your home. I think it's a lovely thing to do as well. The rosemary, for people who are starting to have braais and that sort of thing. So actually our herbs are thriving at the moment. If you go and have a look at either your local garden centers or in your own garden, when I look at my own garden, I think, wow, I forgot that I planted you, but you're doing so well. Everything is just saying, check me out. It's a bit of a competition in the gardens at the moment to see who is going to outshine the other one. And so whether it be with our eyes in the beautiful sights that we see or the scent of smell, I think we are super privileged to be surrounded by such beauty all the time.
For sure. Well, that was our talking about our plants. I always encourage people, if you've got like little walkways, you've got stone walkways, plant a nice creeping mint through that. Even if it's something like a pennyroyal, which is of the mint family, it's not known really as a mint, but it's more of an ornamental mint, because as you're walking along those stones, your feet crush some of those leaves, and that fragrance just attracts more bees and butterflies and beautiful things into your garden. So, Carrie, that's all the time we have for you today. It's been a quick one.
It has been wonderful.
Yes, thank you for being on the show once again. And we're going to do a little bit more in-depth gardening for the upcoming month towards the end of the month with you. So we're going to talk to you again soon. Thank you so much always for your time. Do you have contact detail? Just a contact detail if listeners want to reach you. Oops. Okay, she's gone. Out of there she went. Right, she was fast. A question that has come in from a listener: herbs that are good for opening the bowels. So we're talking here, I would imagine, about constipation. Now, if you can, obviously we know a cup of coffee is going to get your gut going in no time whatsoever. Then you've got your psyllium husk. Now, psyllium husk is a beautiful, it's the husk of a plant, psyllium plant, obviously, and that works very well. In fact, it works very well if you're using it all the time. So if you use it in the morning to keep your bowels functioning well, it's 2 teaspoons of dry psyllium husk into a glass of warm water, and that is going to keep your bowels functioning. Remember, your mental health is made in the gut to a great part. It is like our second brain, our gut. And so our mood, all of those good hormones that we need to keep us happy are made in the gut. So it is good to keep those bowels open. And that is your psyllium husk, number 1 in the morning, first thing, every day, or all the time. If you find that, now everything's fine, but I've just been eating a bit too much, what you can do is you can obviously take I'm trying to remember the name, but in the meantime, I'm going to tell you about parsley. You can take parsley tea. Parsley is milder than, the one I was thinking about is senna. Parsley is milder than senna, but you can make a tea with parsley. Psyllium husk is available from any pharmacy and natural food store. It's very easily available. You could probably even get it at your supermarkets. And then you've got your parsley, which you can also get at the supermarkets. And it's a 1/4 cup of that fresh herb, or 1 teaspoon of the dry herb. Put it into boiling water, let it stand for 10 minutes, and then you strain it and you sip it. And within 2 hours, you'll go to the bathroom quite easily. And on that note, we've got to go to the ad break, and we're going to be back after the break. We're going to talk with someone and accompany her journey through beekeeping.
Your station, my station, our station, Radio Al Ansar.
Celebrate with flavor. Come visit the all-new Checkers Saxony Westwood. From cured meats, rich and savory, to spicy tandoori chicken, try our authentic Indian curries, perfectly seasoned and ready to serve. Everything is made fresh daily with care and quality you can taste. Our halal-certified deli brings you freshness, flavor and variety worth coming back for. Whether you're setting the table for family or sharing something special on the go, discover the Checkers Saxony Westwood Deli, where good food is always on the menu. Checkers Saxony Westwood, butchery, bakery and deli, certified by the NIHT. Doors open on October 30th. See you there.
WhatsApp us now on 060 904 1056.
Radio Al Ansar welcomes your feedback. If you have a broadcasting related complaint, please put it in writing and address it to the head of the complaints committee. Include your full name, contact details, a clear description of your complaint, and any supporting documents. You can email your complaint to feedback@alansar.org.za. That's feedback@alansar.org.za, or bring it in person to our Pietermaritzburg office at 240 Ortman Road, Willowton. Your input helps us serve you better.
Call us now on 0861 904 904.
ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. Invite all to the way of your Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and reason with them in a way that is best and most gracious. Join Shabir Pasha every Saturday at 7 p.m. on the show Dawah Dynamics, and every Sunday on the Dawah Chronicles at 9 p.m. remembering the companions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Join the discussion, analyze the life, sacrifices and contributions of the Prophet's companions, and learn from their experience.
Durban, get ready for an unbeatable kitchen combo only at the Culinarium Musgrave for a limited time. Take home the incredible Kenwood Home Bake 5-liter stand mixer and the powerful 800-watt Kenwood food processor, both for an amazing price of just $2,999. That's right. Premium Kenwood Performance, a full stand mixer and food processor bundle for just $2,999 exclusively at the Culinarium Musgrave. Find us in Musgrave Centre. Don't miss it. Upgrade your kitchen today.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban, South Africa.
Get ready for Green Thumbs Up, the gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. I'm your host and life coach, Rabia Carvalho, and we're talking birds, bees, butterflies, and blooms, growing food in garden rooms, home-based holistic healing, and much more. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or nature lover, plant assassin, or permaculture professional, we got you. We got you. Let us bring you the ideas, the facts, support, and inspiration to go green wherever you are. Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. only on Radio Al Ansar. Hey, you're back to Green Thumbs Up with me, Rabia Carvalho, in studio with me, Sibonisa Mkhize, and we were chatting to Dr. Carrie Goodwin, who had to rush off suddenly. There was a problem with her signal, apparently, but we will talk to her soon again. A question that came up regarding the constipation that I was talking about. So it's 1 teaspoon of dried parsley to a cup of boiling water, the same as it would be with senna. It's 1 teaspoon to a cup of boiling water. The problem I find with senna is if you do have gastric issues or colitis type issues, you may find that you get incredibly strong cramps. So rather than, lay off it and have the parsley tea instead, hibiscus is also a nice one, chamomile, of course, and those are all 1 teaspoon of the dry herb to a cup of boiling water, or a 1/4 cup of the fresh herb to a cup of boiling water. Sister Armacado says, lovely program as always, my Rabia. I take a tablespoons of olive oil first thing in the morning. Yes, after half an hour, I drink a cup of hot water, and that helps to keep your bowel movements. This is from Sister Rashida. I know it's not natural, but have been doing it for many years. Absolutely, it is natural. Also, eating fruit helps. We have lots of lovely fruit. Eat fruit, she says. Eat fruit, don't drink the fruit juice. But you know what else eats fruit and not really the fruit? Without it, we can't have fruits. I read many, many years ago that when the last bee, Sibonisa, has died, humanity is lost. Civilization cannot continue. Because bees are such a critical part of our ecosystem. And many years ago in Joburg, there was an association that would come and put beehives in your house. And I thought one day is one day. Then I moved to Durban. I've got the space for it, but now they don't do it here. But there is someone who decided that she's just going to teach us at some point in her life, and not as a youngster. She decided, hey, I'm going to get into this bees story, and I want to have her on the show. I met her because I bumped into one of her videos on the old TikTok-y, and I thought, oh, that's interesting, and oh, she's in South Africa. Oh, let's talk to her. So she is Sister Shahida. Do we have her on the line? Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Shahida. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm just excited you are to be on the show. It's my first time being on a radio show in Durban. But yes, just a little bit about me. I am not young, but you're never too old to learn. And so I've embarked on a journey in beekeeping. And just like you say, if there's no more bees, we have no more food. And my whole purpose was trying to raise awareness around beekeeping and encouraging any education around beekeeping. So yeah, happy to have me. I'm happy to be on the show.
Well,
Thanks, Shukran a million.
I have to tell you, I'm really grateful that you could make the time because I think one thing is to talk about beekeeping in general. Another thing is to bring it home to us and to say, guess what? I am doing it. And so what we're wanting to do, because we do the videos as well, is at some point, as you'd said, if you're going to see a hive and we're on the show, or we can even pre-record it and play it on the show, kind of be more a part of that journey. And I know that at the moment, we've just been talking about flowers that we can plant for the bees flowers that'll give us fragrance and beauty over the next 2 months. But what about bees? What could we plant now that are maybe some of bees' favorites? Do bees have favorites?
Yes, bees have got lots of favorites. Sunflowers is one of them. It's now the time. Look, there's about to be another flow. Flow is basically when there's lots of flowers around and the bees can have nectar and they can have pollen, because the pollen they use obviously for the larvae to make more bees, and the nectar is them making honey. So there's about another flow in terms of flowering. So yes, anything that you can plant, but bees particularly that I found, they like the blue flowers. I don't know, I think they don't actually see blue, but they see a different variant of it. And especially like lavender, sunflowers also is yellow, barrage, basil. A lot of people love basil. But when basil flowers, it gives the most amazing fragrance, and the bees just are on it the whole day, every day, until you have seeds, and then that's going to be your plants for the following year. So yes, bees do have favorites.
Yeah, I have found in my garden, the thing that attracts the most bees, there's two of them. The one is the yesterday, today, and tomorrow, perhaps because it goes from that lavender color to almost a bluish, pinkish color the next day, and then it goes white, hence the name. But the perennial basil, oh my hat, there are so many bees on that perennial basil. Now, what was the first thing when you decided to start beekeeping? How did you set about it?
Okay, I'm actually an organic food grower. I'm also an agroecologist. I've just done a leadership course in agroecology.
Awesome.
So my heart sits with growing food and being food secure and being food sovereign, so that you choose what you put in your body. So it was just a natural thing for the next thing to do bees, and so that I can increase the yield in my little small backyard, anything that fruits in summer. So there was on the Food Growers Group, there was an advert stating, do you want to learn about beekeeping? And I thought, oh my word, this is such a big group. There's going to be 1 million people applying for the course. And because it's free, you see, you don't have to pay anything for it. It's being sponsored by someone else. I think it's a Wildlife Trust or something. Any case, so I applied for it and I'm motivated. And so the person that was running the course, I said, I feel so honored because there were only 15 of us that was chosen over probably thousands of applicants. And I asked her, what was it that about my application? She said it was your motivation. You had mentioned the Quran, and you had mentioned your love and passion for growing food, and also teaching and educating people around you. So for me, it was important. And she said she made lots of dua on it and she prayed on it. And I happened to be one of the chosen 15 that was selected for this beekeeping course. And it's been very supportive. I've been assigned a mentor, and they help you along through the process. But I got stuck in, like, from the beginning. I went to go and organize a hive. I couldn't wait to catch a swarm. And I found someone that does bee removals. And I asked him if he doesn't want to sell me a swarm.
So that's an interesting. I want to stop you there because yesterday you told me something that you'd gone to do yesterday, and you were talking about, and now you've just said, you spoke to someone who could give you a hive. So it's not like plants. You can go and buy some seeds. You literally need to get your hands on a hive, or could you start with a queen bee and a couple of bees? How would that work? How would you? Which of those?
What I can recommend is, obviously you have to be, for you to be a beekeeper for regarding safety, you have to register with the Department of Agriculture and get a beekeeper's number. If you're going to be doing it as a hobby, then you'll state that on the application form. It's very easy to get it. If anyone, I can forward the application form to you. And then I recommend joining a beekeeping society or association so that they can also give workshops and encourage you along. So once you've got your beekeeper's number, for safety's sake, if anything happens, then they at least know who the beekeeper was or how they can remedy the situation. Not everyone can just buy a hive and then put it in your backyard. So because of the safety issues around beekeeping as well. So get yourself familiar with the base.
Because I was going to say, I think we're having a little bit of a technical issue at the moment.
The friendliest people in the country, so that anyone will gladly help you. So then you can buy a hive with a colony. I'm saying with a colony, which means it's got a queen and it's got some brood and it's got some bees as well. Brood is little hatchlings or little bee eggs, so that they hatch. When they hatch out, they're familiar with everything.
Tell us a little bit about how it was for you, that experience of getting your first colony, and how did you bring it home? How did you get started? What is it like for you, your personal journey?
Okay, you have to move bees when it's cold, cool, and dark. You don't want to move them during the day. It's like the bees, the sun is like a signal for them to go out and start foraging. So I got a beekeeper from, it's a little bit slightly out of Cape Town. I live in Cape Town. And then he met me along the road and we exchanged the hives, and I went on my way to put it on the farm. It's about an hour's drive just outside Cape Town, because I feel that that's the safest place where my bees could be. And there's lots of plants. It was spring at the time. There were lots of plants available, lots of flowers in that area in Malmesbury. And so, and then there was obviously safety precautions. I had everything I needed. I had my bee suit on. Even when you drive, you have to put your bee suit on. And then as the sun came out,
I have to stop you. I have to stop you because I need to understand how this went on, because I'm getting like this gangster movie in my brain. Okay, we're meeting on the highway. I got my bee suit on. You got your bee suit on, and it's dark, and it's nighttime, and we're going to make the exchange now. So now, so you
like an alien. So make me halfway.
So I
literally look like an alien.
Like an alien. So
ready to receive my parcel, but in any case.
So paint me a picture. Sorry, Shahida, you literally rocked up driving in your bee suit, apart from the hat, I'm sure. Or did you drive with the hat on?
No, the full, yes.
Oh my word, the full thing, like an alien, like a biohazard.
You have to have some gloves as well, to prevent the bees from stinging your hands.
You were carrying a hive?
Sorry?
Do you swap hives, or do they give you, bees in a bag? No. How does that go down? How does it work?
It's not in a hive. A hive consists of basically a brood box. And at the time, it was the brood box and a super. A super is where the bees lay honey in. And the brood box is where the queen lays all her little baby bee eggs. And then the colony works to keep everything constant, like the temperature. They will fan out. They will huddle around the queen. their whole object is to protect the entire colony, not just the queen, but to make sure that the little larvae has enough food as well, so they communicate with each other within the hive. So you have a brood box and a soup on the top, and you strap it closed so that the bees don't. But when you transport them, you have to close. There's two little openings on the front of the hive, and so you close that with something that's breathable. Like I used onion, those onion bags. I use those onion bags, and you secure and you close the openings, but it's enough for the bees to breathe still, and you don't, you'll kill them if they can't breathe.
Jy maak toe die vensters. Laat die bye nie uit kan kom nie. Maak hulle toe, Scotty. Close the windows so the bees can't get out. Exactly. So these are two little windows on the brood box, right?
Two little openings, yes, on the hive, yes, on the brood box.
So now you take this brood box home, and then what happens? You put that brood box in your car, and then you just drive on home?
Yeah.
Right.
Not just in your car. Look, accidents can happen. So what you would alternatively do, you can also secure it even further by putting those duvet covers over it.
Yes, that's what I would do.
So that
cover it.
So that you can secure. Yeah, in case sometimes, what bees do? They're clever. They can actually push the sponge or that whatever's covering it, they can push it open.
Highball.
They're very clever.
Bees are escape artists that can push the sponge out of the way. Okay, so best, and you do not want to be driving and suddenly get a bee sting you, because that's not going to be safe. So throw a duvet. I've got the picture here. The movie is playing.
And then on the bakkie, hopefully you have the bakkie with a canopy on, so that if they do come out, when they're free to go wherever if they do come out.
So you've strapped the brood box to the back and you're heading home. And then what happens? Because now you're home with the box.
When you get to your destination, you have to smoke, meaning that before you open the hive, you smoke it a little bit.
For a moment, I thought you needed smoke. What? No. No, you want to smoke the hive. Okay, right.
Okay, what happens is you have a smoker, and you can use things like pine needles or cardboard that hasn't been printed on, and you light that, and it creates smoke. And it's like they call it a smoker, but it's one of the most important beekeeping tools that you can have, because without the smoke, you can't get the bees to calm down. So what the smoker does, it stops the signaling between the bees to attack you. And so with the smoker, they calm down. So you smoke, you give 2 puffs in the one entry and 2 puffs in the other entry, and then they calm down and they relax a bit. So it makes them less aggressive.
And so you got home, you use the smoker that makes them a little bit chill. You push the smoke through the little venstertjies, I'm sure, because I think that's what you're saying. And now they're kind of resting. So what do you do now?
No, then I get to rest, and then I open the hive up, meaning I take the coverings off, and then they do their little waggle dance. They've got a dance. It almost looks like they're twerking, and that's them to signal to each other that they're now in a different place. And then they take little flights, and then they come back just to see their surroundings. And then they'll start foraging a day or two later after they've relaxed. And then I know they're not going anywhere. And then I go home, and then I say a little prayer for them, make a little dua for them, and then I'm on my way home again.
That's so cute. So you've taken the brood box home, you put it next to the hive, is that correct? You're smoking the brood box, and then they kind of go and investigate where the hive is that right? And they come back?
No, the brood box is the hive.
Okay, the brood box. Oh, so they're just flying out to check out their surroundings. Okay.
Yeah. So then they do a little dance. They call it a waggle dance. They even do a little circular dance to tell each other where the food is. And then they signal to each other it's okay where they are. And then I think it's a little frequency they send out to each other to say that they're in a different place. And if one is getting lost, that frequency will guide them back to the hive.
Okay, so you've now got your brood box. At what point do the bees actually start to migrate to your hive? If you, or
Yeah,
did
the
you build a
bees are
hive? Or,
in the hive. The brood box is part of the hive. The hive consists of a
oh,
brood
heavens.
box at the bottom and the super on the top, which is where they lay honey.
Okay,
Where they make honey.
So, folks, dear listeners, please forgive me. I was being as thick as a plank. The brood box is part of the hive because that's where all your
they
little
are
bees
in
live.
the brood
Okay.
box.
Well, that's fascinating. And now they're kind of getting ready. So how many hives do you have now?
Okay, telling people how many hives you have is like telling people how much money you have in the bank account.
Okay. I did not know that. I did not know the political correctness of this. My sincere apologies. We do not want to know what's in your bank. So I assume, though, that you have more than one little box, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And then, so how much? I mean, if you think about you breeding, you're raising bees, breeding bees. I don't know what exactly the term is because I'm learning along with all the listeners here, and we're going to enjoy listening to you over the next even few months, now and then, kind of touching base with you. But now, so the bees are going out, and I saw something in the States, and I thought it was shocking. It's a hive that literally just keeps draining the honey on tap. And so the bees are in constant stress trying to produce more honey because it just keeps getting taken away from them. So how often would one harvest honey?
You'd harvest twice a year. And then you have to leave honey for the bees because remember, if they don't find food or nectar, especially during winter, they eat from their own honey. That's their reserve that they're actually building.
Now,
so you don't take everything. You have to leave. You're just taking some of it, and you're saying thank you, bees, and you get to harvest some of it. And then you have to leave some for them as well.
So you mustn't be a greedy little harvester if you're a beekeeper. Yes, because bees they can actually overwork themselves to death. And I was reading in terms of, how much honey you get from a bee in their entire life. I think in an entire bee's life, I think they produce, it's an eighth of a teaspoon for their entire little life.
Yes, a bee produces roughly a teaspoon of honey in its lifetime. So remember, they've got a short lifespan, so they produce about a teaspoon, and they have to probably visit about 10,000 flowers before they actually produce that 1 teaspoon of honey.
Okay, because I am getting here for the fact the thing I got here from the Bee Society. So it says a single honeybee produces a tiny amount of its short life, averaging. So if you're lucky, you'll get a teaspoon because it says averaging 1/12 of a teaspoon to 1/2 of a teaspoon. I mean, if you've got to make 1 pound of honey, a hive needs roughly 2 million flower visits with bees flying tens of thousands of miles. My goodness.
They fly roughly about a 5-kilometer radius in terms of foraging.
So don't bees ever get lost, and wander off and start their own hive, or do you need a queen? You can't hijack the queen and say, hey, let's break out here and start our own thing.
No, but you do sometimes when the queen gets old. Sorry, there's a little bit of an echo here for me in terms of the call. So sometimes when the queen gets old and tired, the colony will produce a new queen. And then that queen will be birthed or born and she will take some of the colony with her and she'll migrate, leaving the old queen with some of the bees. So that happens sometimes. And then sometimes the new queen can actually kill the old queen as well. It sounds very traumatic. But yes, that does happen, especially when the queen gets tired and she stops laying eggs. Then they'll either migrate and they'll find a different place or a different hive. And they'll take some honey with them.
So they actually
so this is so this is why when bees swarm, Like when you see a lot of bees in a clump, people get scared and it feels dangerous. It's actually not dangerous. Those bees are so calm and docile because they're full of honey and they're just looking for another spot where they can make a nest, basically. So yeah, don't be too scared when you see a hive.
Yeah.
You know what some people do is some of people hurt the bees because they have fear.
Yes.
So part of my journey is to teach people not to be scared of bees.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of the show, and I know that yesterday you had another kind of one of these handovers of a Madonna and her colony. I don't want to say the Dom. She's the Madonna of all the bees. And how's that colony settling in for you?
Okay, they're doing really well. Last night we moved them from Somerset West to Hout Bay. A friend of mine sold me 2 colonies, and then I went to go and put them on the farm. It's a community farm in Hout Bay, and they're doing just fine. I'm going there now, and I've opened up the hive, and they're settling in really nicely. It's on a really nice spot. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the first, like when the sun rises, it literally hits the hive. So once that first bit of sun rays warms the hive, the bees literally waken up and they start foraging. And then you also want to shade them, put them under a tree somewhere where they don't get that harsh afternoon sun. Because it can get really hot in that hive. Then they'll spend all the energy trying to cool the hive down.
So now the next time we talk to you, I'd love to find out more about, how we take care of these bees, about maybe do hives get sick? How do we recover them? Where one could start. There are beekeeping associations. And if you could send us that information, you'd said, that little pack, then we can send it to those people who are interested in as well, in getting started with beekeeping, which I think is beautiful. We speak about wormeries, we talk about beekeeping. If you got your bees now, we need you to get your worms. Shahida, a nice worm farm for you as well.
I've got a worm farm in my backyard. I use the bark to grow worms in my backyard because it's excellent, the compost they make for you.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that is it. That's all we have time for. Shahida, I want to say Jazakallah so much for being on the show. Give us your social media handles for those who want to go and follow along on the journey that we're going to be tracking.
Yes, it's called Shahida the Beekeeper on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram, just as Shahida. So, yeah, you can go and get me on those 2 platforms.
So it's Shahida the Beekeeper for all of you that missed that. So Sister Shahida, Jazakallah so much. And we're going to catch you again on the show very, very soon. Jazakallah and Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for your time.
We'll do a hive visit.
Yes, we must, inshallah. Yes, so folks, that has been Green Thumbs Up. Remember, if there's anything you're wanting us to cover, you're very welcome to let us know on WhatsApp, 0609041056. For those of you joining me in the after show, I'll see you on the other side of this. From myself, from Brother Subanisa, is there a comment coming? Sorry, something coming there?
Actually, a quick one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
today, there are changes to our programming.
Okay.
After you will be doing an outside broadcast from PMP at the Masjid Mountain Rise.
Awesome.
And also the Maximizing with Max Khan will be not airing today, as well as Sunday Lounge with Salma will not be on today. Please stay tuned.
Stay tuned to the Sunday Lounge, which is actually going to be an outdoor broadcast for today, right? And we're going to see you next week. Remember, today is a beautiful day to be happy. And we shall see you next week, same place, same time. From me, Rabia Carvalho, Brother Subanisi, the entire team and Radio Al Ansar. Assalamu alaikum.